Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And it was an incredible 2022 for Caleb Williams as he won the Heisman Trophy. And in mock drafts for the past 5, 6 months, he has almost universally been on top of all of them, expected to be the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. Well, we've heard him say that he's basically on the fence as to whether he's going to enter the 2024 NFL Draft. A lot of people aren't buying it, but we shall see. But in this video, I want to know if you guys are questioning whether he should be the first overall pick due to things like this. So, this is via Clutch Points. USC football's Caleb Williams opens up with blunt admission about brutal season. So, USC, one of the worst defenses in the nation. Caleb Williams could only do what he could do. I mean, he had a terrible game against Notre Dame, but otherwise pretty much excellent across the board. But USC only went 7-5. So Caleb Williams said, "I've never been in this situation where I'm 7-5 and there are no playoff hopes at the end of the season. I'm dealing with it emotionally, dealing with it spiritually and physically," was how Caleb Williams described his mental state after the USC football squad lost to USC. Mentions how the next challenge for him will be the NFL draft. We'll see if he plays in the bowl game. You would think if he's entering the 2024 draft that he will not play in the bowl game because it's going to be far from a high profile one with a 7-5 record. We take a look at his stats. So we see that he actually had a higher passer rating this season than in his Heisman Trophy winning season, a higher completion percentage, higher yards per attempt, same amount of interceptions with 12 less touchdowns, but that's also in 112 less attempts. So, with the same amount of attempts, he wouldn't have had 42. He wouldn't have been on pace for it, but he'd be a lot closer. So, 93 touchdowns, 14 interceptions overall in his time with Oklahoma and USC, and a 66.9 completion percent. So, I don't think his statement was necessarily bad. It shows that he wants to win. But there are a large group of people who uh, didn't necessarily like seeing him a few weeks back after a loss, shown crying in his mother's arms. Um, let's face it, if you're a top NFL pick, there's often going to be times where you go to a bad team. We're seeing it with Bryce Young this year, first overall pick on a 1-10 Panthers team. Not everyone could be C.J. Stroud, and I mean the Texans don't necessarily aren't lighting the world on fire. They're just playing a lot better than expected. But you're gonna have your your share of losing in the NFL. And how will Caleb Williams handle it? I'm not bashing him for what he's done. I'm not bashing him for. I know he had a post on mental health, if he has depression, but if you're gonna be the leader of an NFL team, how are you going to handle adversity, especially first overall pick? Decent chance you end up on a team that's not so good. You're probably not going to do as much winning as you did in high school, as your first 2 years in college. This year was really the first year he's experienced a lot of losing. Would you want would you want your team to select Caleb Williams first overall if they needed a quarterback? Of course, Drake May is also high on draft boards, mostly the quarterback two in everyone's mind. But would you dock him points or, you know, not select him first overall due to some of this because you're unsure of how he's going to handle losing? It'll be interesting to see what happens. We'll see who gets the first overall pick. I mean, right now it's the Bears because they got the Panthers first overall pick in last year's trade. Um, well, last draft's trade where they trade the first overall pick, and we'll see if they want to keep Justin Fields. Only time will tell. What are your thoughts on Caleb Williams? Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.